a researcher. We are coming from the eastern border of Europe, from an area where East and West often meet, debate, quarrel, and often make people confused even more than they already are. I represent Unlock. Unlock is a research agency which operates in Bucharest. We often run international research as well. I personally come with a research experience of 20 years, half of them in international environment. So I'm leveraging this international experience into Unlock now. We are here today to present you a project that is very we care a lot for. And it's talking about a trend in research that we would like to put it on the table and discuss about that. It refers to the way research and brands can impact on social change in general and positive change that people want so much. So I will invite Anna, which is my friend, my partner, my client, my colleague, my everything today. Yeah, she's the author of this interesting titled project. We've done research for them. So she's going to give you a little bit of a background about the project, her project, and then I will introduce a little bit in the impact of the role of research into this social marketing project.
Yep. Hi, everybody. I'm Ana Maria. I'm a PR person, crisis communication expert, so like an alien in the room. We work a lot with research companies because in PR, any number sells to media. So any social expert who gives us nice numbers is a friend for us. So I'm here as a client. Usually I'm the agency, but now I'm the client. So before starting and telling you about my project and the research Unlock has done for us, I would like to make a short engagement with you. Can you all have a piece of paper? If you don't have, I will give you one. So everybody a piece of paper and a pen, please. I know it's late, but we have to energize the room a little bit. So this is what PR does. So everybody has a piece of paper and a pen? So just write down on your piece of paper a word, not a phrase, something you know about Romania. It can be a person, one word or one expression. What do you know about Romania?
Research.
Okay, and please don't do like all stars do when they come and sing in Romania and say welcome to Budapest. So it's not Budapest, yes. Please. So everybody has it? Okay, now stand up. Stand up. I really liked the cubicle and the microphone, and so you are very energized and you know the throw. So now make the paper like a ball.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody? Okay. And when I say go, you throw it towards me. But use a ladder, not a catapult, so. So everybody, 1, 2, 3, go! Perfect.
I will do this job for you.
So during the presentation, I will read some of them. I will make some excuses to stop. Okay. So this is something you probably know about Romania, Dracula. So this is why I never tell my age. From Transylvania, you know, you never know. So talking about numbers, perhaps 90% of you know about Dracula. I don't know how many you know about Nadia Comaneci, the first gymnast to have a 10. But you most certainly don't know about this little lady, which is actually the hero of the project. a hen. But at the end of the presentation, I will tell you that all of you will know the name and the scope of this little lady. So, in the last, let's say, 3 years in Romania, something big happened. So, we had a lot of people going out in the streets, fighting with the government, talking about all the illegal stuff they do, trying to fight the system. And during this agitation, a lot of fake news were published. This little guy, the dog, is a hero of a fake news. When people went out in the street, a politician said that a Hungarian politician paid dogs 20 or 30 lei to go out in the streets with their master, let's say. So everybody then the next day came out with all the dogs with bunny on them. So me as a PR person, always working with brands, saw a threat in this situation, especially when we are facing fake news and crisis communication. It's very difficult to try to manage a crisis situation which was started by fake news. So together with a very good friend of mine, which is a TV journalist, so the same, the guys who are actually supposed to go out into the world and say the truth, they actually now try to find the truth in everything they do. And together with him, we started a project in schools, because we know that after finishing high school, everybody will vote, hopefully, although the vote rate in Romania is very low. But with this thought in our minds, we started this project, which actually is called The Hen Who Gave Birth to Live Chicken. And this is not an invented story. It's actually the first fake news in Romania. So after the revolution, this very, very big newspaper published a story with this title. The interesting fact about this is they actually is a true story there, but no meaning to go into details. Anyhow, this is the first fake news in Romania, which is very, very known. So we used this title, we took it, and we used this title for our project. So together with Tudor, which is the TV journalist, we went in high schools and we taught students about how to identify fake news. So actually 2 poor guys with no money but our own traveled around Romania teaching children how to identify fake news. Media literacy in Romania is not done because nobody wants it. So the state who owns the schools don't want children very smart, because then they will lose some points. So in 1 year we reached 100 students and 5 schools, but at one point we had no means to grow it. So any big dream needs a big supporter. And at that point we said, okay, we need somebody to help us with the project. And we talked with an NGO who actually took us under their wing in order for us to enter many schools and to have access to schools. And then we had the guts to enter this little project in a grant competition by Leader Romania, and we won it. And with all that money, me as a PR person and Tudor as a journalist wanted to know, okay, what are these guys thinking? Because every time we went into a classroom, we asked, okay, where do you get your news from? And I was like, Facebook. Me, the only one with the hands above my head. And then Instagram, everybody. Okay, and the question is, how do you get news from Instagram? It's not okay. And then we said, okay, maybe we should better understand our target in order for our classes to actually work. So after Lidl gave us the money, we wanted to know how we can reach this tone, which young generation usually are not very willing to communicate with us, the older generation. So we went to Adina and we wanted to know what do they know about fake news, what were their consumption habits, where do they spend time on, are they a sensitive target, or should we go either to, let's say, more older people and teach them media literacy? And then Adina gave us very nice numbers, yes?
Yes, very interesting, I would say. What we actually did is that we ran a qualitative and quantitative survey. We were very much interested in talking to them and understanding the way they work and the way their mind is relating to this phenomenon of fake news. And I will tell you in brief the most important findings of the survey, and then how this was used in the program that Anna was talking about. We were looking at the cultural traits versus the specifics of the target that we were interviewing. We were very much interested in understanding how healthy these teens are in relation to the phenomenon of fake news. We are coming from a culture that is pretty vulnerable and mistrustful and critical and vulnerable, with a high aspiration to openness and togetherness and exploration in general. And younger people, like any teenager, are vulnerable because they are not yet mature people, able to make decisions with clear arguments. They are overconfident as a defensive mechanism. There is like, you know, I don't know if you have teens in your house or in your closer environment, and you see that they know everything. They have no problem whatsoever. We are the problem. They are bombarded with information from all over the place. So this new generation of teens is different from the previous generation because they have much more information and the whole thing is much more difficult for them. And they share the features of the culture, very mistrustful and detached because of this overload of information. They don't know exactly what to do and they do nothing. So they just take everything as it comes. But our purpose was to identify what are the best tools to address to them in order to involve them, because they were really passive and really unhealthy in relation with fake news in general. What we have found out is that although the problem of fake news is global, it's not really only local, and it's big in Romania, it's not their problem because they know how to protect themselves. So almost 90% say that fake news is a phenomenon in Romania, but I know what to do it, how to protect from fake news. Another interesting number is that half of them have shared fake news, and they've realized that they've done that after they've done that, because when they shared, they thought that it's real. Another important thing is that fake news are not part of their environment. It's an older people stuff. Adults confront with fake news because fake news usually appear in politics and serious areas, not in my area, not in my own environment. I'm looking for fun and health and nutrition and so on. I'm not really interested in the domains, in the fields that are affected by fake news. So what we did also in the qualitative part of the study, we have used an experiment. We have done an experiment, like giving them one fake news and one a true one that was real. One was referring to a product, which was coffee, and we said that the news was saying that the coffee produces cancer. And the second one was like, there was an armed attack in Belgium. The second one was a true one, the first one was false. And the majority of them considered that the Belgium news was the fake one, and the coffee producing cancer was the real one. So what this gave us as an indication is that actually they don't identify fake news in their own environment because they can be coffee drinkers, chocolate eaters, and so on, and they consider that all they cannot judge whether news that are coming in their own environment are fake or real, although they say they do. Another important thing is that they identify fake news based on form rather than fundament. Clickbait is an indication of a fake news. If the news have nice design and profit writing, then that's an indication that news are real and not fake. And older people are much more exposed to this than we are as teens. And another thing that we identify is that the most important sources of information are not the official one, and it's not the press, but the most important sources of information are people, older people around them, like adult people around them, families, parents, and teachers. So they confront with the fake news phenomenon, but they are the ones that we are listening to when we judge whether news are fake or real. And as a conclusion, well, what we recommended is to start preventing, educating this generation for preventing themselves from being affected by fake news, and eliminate the misconceptions and superficial perceptions related to this phenomenon. And this, as a call for action, was creating a toolkit able to use the information correctly, to help teens use the information correctly. And our direction was to teach, first of all, adults how to address teens in order to make them aware of how to identify fake from real and vice versa. There were 3 territories that we consider that we need to work on. First of all, make them aware that politics and economics are not the only ones that are affected by fake news, that they can be touched by this phenomenon in multiple forms, and to find a way to talk to them in a way that is easy, provides easy understanding, and create a guide to start building a conversation with the teens, and be able to teach them to see that the world is not so perfect as they see it now. I'm not going to say too much into this because Anna will show you the results. And it's pretty much the thing that we already said. Guide for discerning fake news, teach empathy, and teach older people how to talk to the teens and vice versa. And bring into focus the positive examples, and do a lot of practical activities, what Anna and Tudor were doing in the schools, with low difficulties in order to teach them how to really discriminate between the news that they are seeing. So we will show you the results and how we will continue this project.
Okay, first of all, somebody said that about Romania, bear meat. I have to look into it. I don't know why. Okay, so we are very good listeners, and we didn't spend our money in vain. We actually took a lot of information and insights, and we implemented. So we continued this year to visit high school. We use influencers, including teachers, and we published already a guide for teachers in order for them to teach media literacy in schools. We launched it very nicely with media. As I told you, numbers are always a good story for journalists. We had a lot of media coverage, which actually led us where we are today, because this year Lidl gave us another grant, and we will be able to make a workshop with teachers. During 3 days, we will teach them how to teach the information in the guide in a more friendlier manner with creative people. And also we will do a second edition of the survey, because now we want to ask also parents and teachers about fake news, as they are the main influencers in these kids' lives. So we will be able at the end to somehow match the results and have a better product, if we want to name it like a product, what we are doing with our hands. So hoping that everybody knows now about our hen with live chickens.
It's very entertaining, thank you. Are you going to read some of the
Yes.
papers? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this blank paper, so nothing written here.
But who wrote Bear Meat?
Yeah, there.
Oh, I want to talk with you. Have you eaten it or?
No, I have a Romanian friend who told me about it. So
that you can eat it. Okay, I know that during older times we ate horse meat, but bear, okay. So vampire and everybody got the capital right. So I'm very happy and pleased. So any questions?
Any questions? We have one at the back and one here at the front. We'll go you first.
Thank you. Very interesting topic, and I think also important nowadays to educate younger generation how to cope with information. Would you be able to give us some insight about this toolkit? Maybe a few words about what are some guidance you give to the teachers or to the children directly?
It's actually sort of a manual, I would say, as a reader, mainly as a creator. It's actually a manual for teachers. It teaches teachers how to deliver a message to this younger generation, which uses usually completely different manners of studying, in a way that involves them and makes them really aware, trains them to be aware of what's going on around them, because they are pretty much passive and pretty much kept trapped in their world. And it's a tool of building dialogue between teachers and teens in a very effective way. Anna can tell you more.
But we have a very practical side in this manual. For example, we showed them fake news. And we tell them why it is fake news in order for them to show it to kids and then actually explain it why it is fake news and how to deal with fake news. Also, what we have learned is that they don't make a difference between news and advertising. We had, for example, a very dramatical situation where a TV ad was actually put in place by some kids who died because the heroes in the TV ad were on a train. And they try to do this. So we teach them about advertising, advertorial, paid media, and article. And also we have added some exercises which teacher can do with kids, like cutting out newspaper and exchanging titles and putting it to another article and make a story out of it. So practical with theoretical, but also examples of exercises they can do in classes.
As long as they still believe in Santa Claus, all is fine.
Yeah. It's the best.
Now with the digital world, nobody believes in Santa Claus anymore.
Can I?
Believes in Facebook.
I really enjoyed it. It was amazing. Thank you for the presentation. But maybe I missed one point, which I'm curious to know. When you say the fake news, do you cover also the political fake news, or just like, vitamin E is bad for the pregnant women, sort of what type of fake news are you talking about? Maybe I missed, you already mentioned that. And we are from Turkey, and the media is extremely corrupted recently for the 10 years now, even more. So it inspires me, this research. So I don't know, maybe we can talk later, how can we actually cooperate? I loved it. So how do you include it, or how you operationalize in terms of its meaning of the fake news in politics? That's what I want to do.
So I will tell you what we do in classes, then Adina can say the research part. So it's interesting that we tackle political stories, but children are not that interested in them. What we are trying to teach them is to look for different sources. For example, we found out that most of them listen to TV, as parents in the house watch TVs, but they don't watch it. Just they hear it, but they don't verify the information in different sources. They see it on Instagram, they share it, then they don't verify it. So we focused more on how actually to identify the stories. If a title is big and gives you a stomach ache, then probably it's something wrong with it. It's a clickbait or whatever. But interesting thing is that the journalist is a TV journalist from, let's say, right wing of the political party, and he usually says a lot of stories about his TV stations, and then teachers, who most of them in the country, not in Bucharest, but in the country, are on the other side. They come to us and say, you don't need to say students what to watch, because I want them to watch everything else, not what you say as example. So it's a clash, but the main thing we try to teach children is how to actually think in a critical manner, not to receive everything like a drug and take it and just leave it like this.
Yeah. And in research, we have discovered that the fake news for them are not part of their own environment. Fake news is about politics, and they consider fake news everything that the other are talking about as being fake news. And usually it's bombarded in politics and economics and so on, things that do not affect them. And their critical mind was not developed enough, is not developed enough to identify fake news around them that affect their personal life and their personal development. And they are rather listening to influencers, to other people around them. They don't check the official sources. And this is what their program is doing, is trying to teach them how to develop their own critical mind in order to differentiate what's fake and authentic around them, around their own environment, and to open up their mind and wake them up to realize that things around are not always to be taken for granted, and they should be aware of what's going on around, because they always stay like this, and they are not.
Just to wrap up, a funny story, we ask them in classes, when you feel an earthquake, what do? And everybody says, we are asking on Facebook.
Yes.
Nobody is opening a TV station, or they're asking on Facebook, was it an earthquake? Okay.
Yeah. So there are many things to talk about.
I saw you're obsessed with the cube. Do you want to see if you can throw it to the lady in the red at the back?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh.
Hi, I actually know a lot about Romania because this is where I come from, and I want to make some points.
You are Romanian?
Yes.
Oh.
First of all, the mistrust is because of the political system Romania has, which is communism, which was educated people to rat on each other. So when you're in high school or 5 years old, you can't trust the person next to you because they'll go rat to your teacher. So there is where mistrust is forming for a very young age, and that's a cultural problem. The second thing is, fake news are everywhere. What is fake news? Because maybe I will give example America, sorry for that. You have Fox News, which everybody says is fake news, and then you have CNBC or other channels, right? It depends on what you want to read, and you need to inform yourself from different channels. Don't think people in Romania go to their teachers for the news. I honestly don't believe that. I grew up there, so my point is what fake news represent in your research, like what's based on it? Because basically if 10 people will say that, like everybody in this room will look at that wall, we see it black. If everybody will say it's green, it's going to become green. Because everybody in the room is saying that. So how do you define fake news? What's the definition of it? Where it starts and where does it end? That's my question.
Okay, so I will tell again what we are doing in the classroom and then the research.
Yeah, let's also not get deep into local politics.
No. So actually the idea is that we make a difference between fake news, manipulation, propaganda, and mistakes. In Romania, there are a lot of journalists who don't check facts. And they say, this lady went there at 9 o'clock and she has green eyes, and she has blue eyes or whatever. So this is not fake news. This is something that a journalist made out of mistake. It can be seen as fake news, but it's not necessarily fake news as a definition. Fake news is news which actually has a core of truth, but actually has a bad intention. So fake news is something that has a core of truth, I don't know, the story, whatever, but it has a bad intention. It wants you to make a decision in a way, or to turn left or right, whoever that author's story is, what they want. So this is what we make clear from the beginning for every student to understand. Otherwise, we go into stories like, so this is how we make the difference.
And if you ask me how people define it, if people define it as fake news is something that doesn't say the truth, doesn't anchor in the facts were different than the way they were communicated. And they had a different intention than the way it was communicated. We actually had in the questionnaire a list of definitions, possible definitions. I didn't put all the study here. So we had a list of definitions of fake news and the most rated one. But we can debate on that, if it's that's the most important thing or not. The rank first is that it doesn't say the truth. The facts were different than the way it was communicated. And about your questions about the teachers, that you were saying that you don't believe that teachers are the ones that listen. When we asked which is the source that they rely the most when they want to hear if something is fake or real, they said that the official quality of the parents and teachers is more important than the official source like press, and we were comparing them with media rather than, and teachers and parents should tell me something that helped me. It doesn't mean that it really happens. We know we come with different traumas from the educational system, which is a different story to open.
Yeah.
We are not going into that.
Somebody is getting nervous, so
yes,
we should.
thank you very much.
Adina, Anna Maria, thank you.
Thank you. Cred că trebuie să mergem să ne dăm